I'm not against borrowing. Even the greatest countries in the world, America, Japan, China, all are big borrowers. But they borrow for physical, tangible, and accountable projects that you spread and pay over time. But my worry is not even in the borrowing, it's what you borrow for. Let me give you quickly a rundown of what I checked. You see, in June 2023, $500 million was borrowed for women program to scale up what they call NPWPSC. Can you see that? Can Nigerians see it? Where are the women? Then on June 23rd, the same day, $800 million was borrowed to cushion the impact of high petrol prices after fuel subsidy removal. How? Where? Then on September 23rd, 2003, under the same government, $700 million was borrowed again for Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment. Then, on December 23rd, the same thing, $750 million borrowed through what they call renewable energy scale-up. Then June 2024, $1.5 billion was borrowed to support Nigeria's reform for economic stabilization to enable transformation.
That one sounds very spurious, I have to be honest.
Okay, you see? Then in June 24th, $750 million again was borrowed for immediate financial and technical support for efforts to stabilize economy and to scale up support to the poor and most economically at risk. Then on September...
Well, they would argue, that particular one, that they've been making payments to a lot of poor people.
Where are the poor people?
Some of their cash transfers and things like that.
Look, whenever you're doing something, if it is true, somebody will come out to say thank you.
But are these loans, are they approved by the National Assembly? I mean, do they pass through your Senate for approval?
No, what passes through the Senate so far as this is these are itemized.
Right, the bulk of it passes
No, the bulk,
through.
you don't pass the bulk, you pass the itemized. If, for example,
right.
before...
So were all these itemized things approved?
Not to my
so you're saying they're extra?
Not to my knowledge,
Because I know that...
such amount, the medium-term expenditure framework is something that they bring and we look at and maybe approve it, but that is not to say it's a blanket.
So you're saying these things have bypassed the National Assembly?
That is it, so far.
The reason I say that is that I know that in November 2024, the Senate approved 1.7 trillion naira or something to that effect that the government had requested, which is several...
No, it's not. Just get it clear. Before you pass the budget annually, there's the midterm expenditure framework that must come before the National Assembly for approval. These are the things that the government is anticipating to spend, but that is not to say that even if it is approved, it's a blanket approval. No. Every item, every of this...
must be accounted.
Yes. No, because you need to ask questions. How are you going to do that? How is it important? And when is the money? What are the terms? All these things are supposed to be discussed first before you engage in it. That is the National Assembly approval. But as I said, when you total these borrowings, the figure I got here is about $9.45 billion, which translates to about 13 trillion. And as I said, I mentioned most of them. These are items that are either intangible. Those items are not. It has nothing to do with infrastructure. I would have supported, for example, that the country is borrowing even more than that to build our infrastructures, to build railway, to build our...
But you're saying that these things...
I'm a bona fide member of APC. In fact, one of those that signed onto the initial formation of APC. And Nigeria is my country. And as I said, I don't have any other country.
Because I remember, I noticed you mentioned somewhere about 2027. Does all this play into 2027?
I hear them talking about 2027 all the time, but for me, I'm not. I'm talking about today and at most tomorrow. I'm 65. I thank God for my life. All these people shouting about 2027, they don't believe in God. Because 2027 is a year ahead. And we don't know whether Ndume is going to be alive then or even the president. And they are busy shouting about 2027.
Yeah,
we have not finished.
Ahead.
Wait now, we have not finished with the mandate. We are just 2 years. In fact, until next month, the president is not 2 years old. And you are talking about 2027. Let him finish. By the time the president is performing very well and Nigerians are happy, nobody will come and start talking about competing with Mr. President. It will be automatic. But as it is now, they keep on talking nonsense as far as I'm concerned. Because, as I said, 3 things will determine whether this government is going to succeed or not. 1 is security. 2 is welfare of its citizens. And 3, that is related to the welfare, is the economy itself. If it is not performing, then you can go and be talking nonsense. It will not work.
Let me ask you.
Did you hear that? That is Senator Ndume. One of the serious member of APC is the one talking like that. Senator Ndume. If you're asking me what did he borrow the money for? Don't forget, as we speak now, Tinubu is in the hospital in France. So all the money he borrowed, he's using it for medical treatment in France. How many times you mentioned now, he didn't even allow you to finish. How many times you counted that we borrowed money so far? Tinubu borrowed money so far. Over 5-6 times that he has borrowed money. Now count it. This is the 5th trip that Tinubu is visiting to France since he assumed office. Every time he went to France is not for any other reason but hospital medical checkup, right? So is the money he's using to pay for hospital bills. He doesn't want to spend his own personal money. He's borrowing money to spend for hospital bills. That's what he's using the money for. This is APC. What else do you want? Do you understand? You're asking me, and you said, because all those money he borrowed, we are not saying that it has not reflected in the lives of Nigeria. It has not resonated in the lives of Nigerians. They said they want to transfer many millions to 15 million household. How many did you see? Listening to me now, if you have received your own, or if you know anybody who has received part of that money, please notify yourself that you have received the money. That they said 15 million household, they were going to receive the how much thousands were complained at that time that it was not going to be enough for a family of 2, 3, 4, 5. It wasn't going to be enough, but they said we're going to transfer cash to them. When the minister, the first time they started was the minister of humanitarians, Betta Edun, before they lay off that woman, before they had fired. But we didn't hear anything about that. They keep on borrowing money. We did not see what they borrowed the money for. It does not resonate to the Nigerian people. We're not seeing the effect. So what is he borrowing the money for? He's borrowing the money for medical treatment in France. That's what he's borrowed the money for. Do you understand? So now, you're talking about 2027 election. I like what you said, that Nigerians should decide in 2027. What he did now determines if he is going to come back or if he's going to retain it, if he's going to be the president in 2027. That is if he performs very well now. But now, as you spoke very well at that. Now, spoke very well that he is not performing. He does not deserve a second time. Me, myself, I could tell you that without any fear of anybody that he's not performing well, that he does not deserve a second term. Do you understand? So if we truly have to decide, or the judiciary is working, the INEC is functioning in a normal society like other places, Tinubu does not have any business with second term coming back because he knows that it's going to be a disgrace for him. But because he had all this judiciary or not, it doesn't matter who approved the law at the National Assembly. The Akpabio is there. Tinubu does not need to waste time. Those bill does not need to waste time. Within 24 hours, should have been approved by the Senate House. The Akpabio, once Akpabio says yes, order has no choice. They highest, they give them a rabber among them just to bribe them for them to silence, to keep short. Not saying anything about it. That's the problem. So we are in danger. The country is in danger. Nigeria is stuck somewhere. It's the middle of nowhere. I've been saying this. So we are going nowhere. Now, this is a senator, APC, a typical member of APC, serial member of APC, the one telling you, speaking like this, what else do you want? Now, when these people like this, people will be like, when Buhari was there, what did you do? That's the question. But because Buhari failed does not mean that Tinubu should fail. Because Buhari was not good. Buhari was not doing anything good. It was not favoring Nigeria. Better we needed Nigeria. We pushed it on away. That's allow Buhari to come. Buhari came and it did worse. So Tinubu came again to rescue Nigeria from the disaster, from the damages that Buhari caused to this country. Tinubu should continue that trajectory again. But now he's even doing worse. So what else? How? Now, the senator is telling you this. Everybody could see that more money they borrow. We are not seeing the changes. We are not seeing the effect. It's not about, nobody is against you borrowing money. When you borrow, you know what you're borrowing money for. But we are not seeing what you borrow money for. He did not even mention the recent one they borrowed, $632 million to defend Naira. Now, they borrowed that money to defend Naira for further depreciating against dollars. And now, because of that money, dollar able to go down against Naira 1,600 something. That's the least they could do. It's still on the high side. So what are they doing? There's nothing. They said this one, things are getting better. We're not seeing the things that are getting better. We're not seeing the effect. Now, as we speak now, the Oga Patapata himself, the one borrowing the money is in the hospital in France. He's using the money to pay for hospital bills. So how long are we going to continue? But now, 2 years in office, he visited France when he's still younger. 2027, if he comes into power again, he's going to be older. The sickness is going to be increased at that time. Whatever sickness is that he's facing. Do you understand? So if he visits France now in 2 years, France hospital checkup, his old age. Nobody is against that. You are old, you are advanced, so your body will surely feel it that you are old. Your body needs attention. And even 75, they said Tinubu is 75 or 76 now. That's a political age. In real life, in real age, Tinubu is over 80 years. So you shouldn't have any business with that just because you are strong or something. As we speak now, I'm not even surprised if they come to tell us that Tinubu is having dementia now. I will not be surprised. Nobody will be surprised because he's old enough, he's aged enough to have it. It's not a bad thing for them to come pray and tell us the truth. And Tinubu knows what he's doing. Whenever he travels, he doesn't want to hand over power to the vice president. And now as we speak, there's no president, there's no vice president. So that is the problem. So we Nigerians, we don't need somebody to tell us. We don't need somebody to tell us that Tinubu does not deserve second term. So because you and I vote does not count. If our vote counts, we don't have any problem in 2027 than to say, okay, let us manage through these 2 years remaining. That 2027, there's no way by voting, by me and you voting, that Tinubu is going to, who is going to vote for him? Do they swear for you that person, you are not a party member, you're not an APC member, that you go and cast a vote for APC? If you should do that, somebody in that polling unit sees that you voted for APC, the person have right to strike, to stone you. Of course, if you did that at that time, you are not a party member, you are not APC member, you voted for APC. Anybody in that polling unit where you voted for APC, we have right to stone you, to even beat you. This is not violent. Do you understand? So because these people they don't need our votes to succeed. They don't need our votes to become the winner. They don't need our votes. That's why all these things is going on. They don't care. Do you understand? So you don't have any business. If APC member, serious member of APC is talking like this, what do you want? Who do you want to tell you the truth that this administration has failed? It's not doing anything good. It's not doing well. It's not performing well. All the policies failed. And we think he was going to do well. Let's give him time. 2 years gone. How long are you going to continue like this? Try and error policies according to article. Everything has failed. It's not about borrowing money. Is everybody, all countries borrows money, but when they borrow money, you know what they borrow the money for. You could see the changes, the effect. If you are doing your papa burial, you go borrow money to do better. You they expect say they want the money when your invitees go to play you can't use that one to pay your debt. You are wasting your time. It's a lie. It's not going to make it. You are not a millionaire. You go borrow millions of naira. Definitely you are not a millionaire. You know your friends are not millionaires that you are expecting to come and play you millions. Your friends still stay within your cycle. Do you understand? It's the same thing now that is happening. So that's why we are stuck somewhere. Anyway, please share this video.